What's going on, everyone? This is Zach here, and I'm bringing you a pretty special video. This will be going over the Fun Pokemon League, the FPL Week 12 final, or not Week 12, Season 12 finals between myself and my opponent, TheMonkeyDidIt, and I actually have him here with me. We're going to be doing a little bit of a battle analysis, going over the teams we brought, why we brought the sets we did, and our thought processes throughout the battle. So hopefully you can learn a little something from us going in depth and talking about all of that. So yeah, Monkey, if you want to introduce yourself, greet the people.
Hey, yeah, it was a super fun season. Team was kind of insane. I had a lot of not fun baiting out mirror herbs every game, and yeah, it was a really cool finals. Lots of cool sets.
Yeah, I think both of our teams were like two of the more heinous ones like that were drafted. I think the point total was a little too high. Like you can see the teams on there. Monkey's team is the top in the red, mine's on the bottom in the blue. But yeah, we both had the Annihilape Chi-Yu core, which I think it was like week 3 or something. We were talking like, yeah, we both got to make it to finals. We need to do the mirror, or as soon as we can meet in playoffs. And because that core was incredibly good. And I think I'd say you built around it a little better than I did, because I think you had like better support for those two. But I mean, we both have like stupidly good teams. So
yeah, I think there's definitely too many points. It was really cool too, because normally like you never, obviously normally in a draft like you never get mirror matchups, but because
exactly. Yeah, no, you're very right. So I'm gonna go through my team. I'll talk about why I brought what I did, and then he'll do the same thing, and then we'll go into the battle. So this is probably the weirdest Mew that I've ever brought, and I had like 10 iterations of this mon, but I realized that I had very few answers to both the combination of Frostmoth and Torterra. So Monkey's Terra options were Frostmoth, which is like water, ice, ground, and then Torterra, which I think was electric, ground, steel, both of which with a lot of terrifying setup potential, and both of which kind of ran through my team if they could get the speed to do so, because they had like the coverage and the offense to do it. So like you said, with trying to outplay Mirror Herb all season, I had to bring one. And Mew is also my rocker, because I noticed that a lot of your hazard removal, which is pretty much Feeny and Skarm, didn't really like defogging, because I had Defiant Ape as my own deterrent, and it was really pressured by a lot of Pokemon. So I really wanted Rocks up early, mostly for Pinsir and Chi-Yu, because both of those Pokemon can like run shop on my team. So I wanted Rocks early, that was the goal. And then Psychic Fangs was there just as an attack for Ape, as well as for breaking Veil, because there was a very real possibility that you brought Ninetales. So I wanted, because I didn't have Defog on the team, I wanted a way to get rid of screens. And then Mystical Fire was kind of a 2-for-1 to try to hit Skarm for super effective damage. And also, if I needed to like go 1-for-1 with Frostmoth, trying to like lower your special attack as you Quiver Danced on me, that was kind of the goal. And then Explosion, because I just wanted to get rid of those Pokemon. And the only of those two, the only one that lived would be like a Terra Steel Torterra, which I didn't think you would bring. I thought the other two types made a little more sense. So I was just kind of like risking it for the biscuit with Boom. But like I was 100% using Mew as like a 2-for-1. And that was kind of the thought process.
I think one of my early builds I did have Torterra. I don't remember what. It was either Steel or Ground, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I kind of just had to like roll the dice with that. Like any chip, I just need, and Explosion still did like 80, so I just needed a little bit of chip. But and then Chi-Yu. So I needed Chi-Yu because it was my only answer on my team to your Chi-Yu. So that's why I had AV. I just wanted the longevity of taking special hits and to deal with like Feeny, Ninetales, Frostmoth a little better. Although like I still got murked by a Water Frostmoth or Ground Frostmoth. And the goal was, because I had the 2 stab moves, if you switched Tapu Fini or Shifu, which were kind of the 2 Pokemon that resisted the stab, into a Ruination, if Shifu wasn't Scarfed and Fini wasn't like super Spadef, Psychic would Oko the Urshifu and it would 2-shot the Fini. So I could kind of like remove the check almost by like trading Chi-Yu for that. But otherwise it was just there to make sure I didn't lose to your fish, because I think yours had a better matchup into me than mine did into you. I don't know how you felt about it. You can get more into that later, but I needed that AV. I ran so much AV this season. Like I was realizing it because some people were talking about it. Like I ran so much AV. I have AV Ape too. Like I needed it.
Yeah, I ran AV Fish one game. I think it's 6-0 that game actually.
Dude,
it was like Flame Charge Flame Charge plus 3 attacks.
That's so grimy. Yeah. Super good item. I needed it versus, and like Moth too. Like Slowbro was the other big thing. Although I wouldn't put like a physical Slowbro wouldn't have surprised me from you. But I needed the special bulk. Arrow, I noticed you had one flying answer and it was Skarm. So my entire goal was to try to beat Skarm. And so I ran 92 special attack with Flamethrower because after a dual wing beat or a rock slide, if you were like a Fizdef set, which I think you were, yeah, Fizdef, Flamethrower would two-shot after that chip, and I didn't think it would be something you would expect. And no spoilers, we'll go into that in the game, but and then rock slide was for Pincer. This was kind of like emergency check 1 to Pincer because I would resist quick attack and rock slide would kill. And then I really didn't have a last move. DD was kind of there to like outspeed a Scarfer if I needed to. So like a Scarf, you know, Ninetales or Shifu or something like that, Chiyu. Just to kind of cement an endgame, I had that option. But it was kind of just hoping to get it in early game and just pressure things with dual wing beat, maybe trade with Skarm. But also that was divided with the need to have it late game for Pincer, so I didn't know how that was going to work. Probably couldn't have it both ways, but yeah, I think that's it for that. Again, AV Ape, like, again, it was the same thing, especially with your fairy type. So, like, Tapu Fini and Ninetales, I didn't want to have to switch out. I'd rather, like, stay in, take the hit, and then try to kill back. So I have, like, this really ratchet Chinese spread with, like, Gunk Shot to try to hit the fairy types. And I swapped Rock Slide off for U-Turn in like the last day or two before the match because I'm like, I'm not staying in on Pincer anyways. I don't need to pressure that. I'd rather just U-Turn for momentum. And we'll see how that comes into play. But so I don't have rock coverage, but Rage Fist Drain Punch does what it needs to. Defiant, obviously to pressure Defog. Ogerpon, this slot was like everything else on my team. It was Diplin for a while. It was Rabombi for a while. Because I was going to do like a dual stab set with like powder to try to kill like Chiyu, but it was just so weak. So I ended up going with Ogerpon because I wanted to spike stack, and I could like try to again trade with Skarm or Fini, who would pressure to defog. And then like taunt them and just kind of cudgel them down in range of other things. And Fairy was really good versus you as well, especially hitting like Urshifu, hitting Annihilape. And then Cudgel was just
I don't think I have a single Fairy resist on my team. Actually.
Yeah, I think it's just Skarm because Chiyu's neutral. Yeah. I mean, Skarm's a hell of a resist, but I mean, in Cudgel's just solid as a whole. Like that combination worked really well. I didn't really need another move, and I wanted the Water Absorb because if you were like a choiced Urshifu and were forced into like Surging Strikes, that way I have a fighting immunity in Ape and a water immunity, so I could like calculate endgames out that way. But Ogerpon was kind of just there to spike stack and like trade and die. That was kind of just what it was there for. And then Tox, like this, it's the same set I've been running all season. Choice Scarf, Boom Burst, Overdrive, Volt Switch, coverage move. But I ran Terra Electric this time instead of Terra Normal because you have very good normal answers. And I didn't want to like lock myself into Boom Burst, you switch into Annihilape, and then I have to deal with a bulk up Annihilape. So I went Terra Electric because I felt like Torterra wouldn't be your initial switch in anyways, just because Boom Burst like murks that thing if I'm Terra Normal. So I could kind of play the mind games with that a little bit, and I had Sludge Bomb too. I also had Sludge Bomb because in the off chance you were a Heat Lord and ran like Soundproof Electrode, I had something to hit it. That's legitimately why Sludge Bomb is there.
Yeah, I did have Soundproof Electrode at one point, yeah.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I'm like, crap, I need to be able to hit that thing. So I had like T-Spikes on it, and I'm like, no, I need to be able to hit Electrode. But that's so funny. I'm glad you thought of that because that's the only reason I had Sludge Bomb. But
I think it was like when I was building, it was like the first thing I thought of was like, oh, I should bring this. But
then yeah,
didn't really. So it feels like it doesn't do enough.
It didn't like. I mean, I had Ape, like AV Ape would just take hits. Arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, the speed was there, but I mean, like AV Chiyu helped a lot with that. Like I could just kind of pivot around and wear it down.
I think the idea I had when I was gonna take it was like it was just like an annoying one where it's like taunt T-Wave,
like sub leech or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, but I think my entire game plan was, and this sounds super cheesy, was just to not lose. Like I needed to, when you brought like the crazy things in, I just wanted to deal with it, and then if I dealt with them all, I win. Like that was literally my whole thought process because I was anticipating. I think the 6 I was anticipating like almost 100% were Skarm, Ape, Chi-Yu, Pinsir, one of the Terra Pokemon, and then either Finny or Urshifu to try as like your pseudo Chi-Yu answer. Because I didn't think, I mean, Ninetales could have come for Veil. Slowbro was like tricky, but I didn't think it was as good as the other things. So like my entire game plan was utilizing momentum from like Toxin from Ape and just trying to get my guys in before you got your guys in. Because I had some checks to things, like the Mew was kind of a check. AVs on stuff were checks for the special things, but like Pinsir, I couldn't let that win. Or Shifu could easily win late game, because I think that thing got Swords Dance, didn't it? In like some DLC. Or like it has bulk up too, like Trailblaze. So
yeah, it has both. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's a threat. So it was literally like my game plan was just not to lose. Like I just needed to deal with things as they came out and just go from there. And we can get more into that in like the actual game, but that's what I had. I'm gonna click over to yours if you want to go through. Yeah, same thing. What you brought, why you brought it.
Yeah. So the first thing I had was Skarm, because you have so many physical mons. It was like it seemed really good. It checked like Ape. Well, Ogerpon kinda. If you don't get an SDF first, Gliscor obviously can't touch it.
Yeah, Gliscor just wasn't good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like over. It's just such an annoying thing. I was like sure it would come just because, or I overthought it just because it's so annoying to deal with. But yeah, it does have a pretty bad matchup into me. And then Komalo, which I didn't think would come, but
no
there are a lot of
that
memes
thing never
about it.
came.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, if he does bring it, the choice band,
the last resort. I mean that's valid.
Physical ones that kind of, but then did not expect the flamethrower. That was pretty cool.
I love the mental herb for taunt. That is such a cool build.
Yeah,
I love that.
The mental herb for taunt on Ape and like Encore, or taunt on Ogerpon too.
Yeah, because then you toxic Ape.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like Tinkathon if you brought it, but I didn't think that was coming.
No, I like this set a lot.
Ape. Yeah. The flamethrower was crazy though. And then I had my Ape. It was just bulk up, like the normal Spadef bulk up Rage Fist. I like tried to speed creep yours because in case you were like the same set. So I kind of just put like a random amount of speed.
Okay, so you want to know what's really funny about that? Like, I'll go into more in the game. I prepped my Ape to try to underspeed you. I was going the exact opposite route because I wanted like you to hit me.
I was worried about
the boost.
Taunt.
Oh, that's also fair. Yeah.
I was worried about Taunt. That's why I wanted to be faster. But I didn't have Taunt, so it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I didn't either. We both played ourselves. Anywho,
I think I probably had Taunt over Stealth Rock, but then Stealth Rock was so good. I was like, I need to put it on something, and I didn't want to put it on Skarm because then I couldn't touch Ape.
Yeah.
And I think that was the only. I guess Pinsir could have had it, but
that's not a set.
And then I had Payappa for Psychic from Chi-Yu, or I figured you would have Psychic things on Mew unless it was like fully special, which then it wouldn't. I didn't know which moves you would have on Mew, but I was like 100% sure if you brought Mew, it's gonna be Mirror Herb. So I was like,
yeah,
I know it's gonna be Mirror Herb. And then I figured Psychic Fangs and Fire move, and then I was very wrong on the last.
I mean, you got like pretty much the set. Like that's very impressive for guessing a Mew set.
Yeah, it's Mew. It could do anything realistic, but I just felt like the mirror was so good on Mew.
Yeah, I don't think you could have brought like a better Ape set. I think this one's great. I think Rocks, I'll talk about it in the game, but Rocks was an incredible bring. I think that was great.
Yeah, I maybe should have tried to give them up earlier. It's just Ape didn't really have it wasn't a great lead just because it couldn't really. There are a couple like if you lead Arrow and I lead Ape and you DD or something, it's kind of
it's a rough situation.
Bad for me.
Yeah.
And then I had Frostmoth. It was originally just like boots, like normal, but I didn't want to lose to Sticky Web, and
You're an animal for not bringing boots.
So it was originally boots, but I ended up not bringing Defog, and I didn't have Taunt on anything. So I was like, if he brings webs, I need something. Every other person I played who had webs, I think I brought Trick Room, Slowbro with Defiant Ape. But Slowbro was just so bad this game. Like you had so many things that could taunt it. You had Chi-Yu, you had Ape. You had so many like super effective things against it.
Yeah,
So
I don't
didn't
think
wanna
I
bring it.
ever had webs on a draft, just because like I think it was Chris brought webs versus you with his Vikable, and like Ape came in and just won. I'm like, I'm not letting that happen to me.
Yeah, but I needed a contingency. So this was I gave it safety goggles because if you like this happened in the first mock I played actually uh against Savage. He led Rubombi and tried to stun spore me, and I literally just 6-0'd his team off the rip.
Yeah, you said something about that. Yeah, no, this
I don't know if it would
set.
have worked. I would have. Yeah, I needed
No,
like
this set is
+3 or +4
incredible.
or something to kill
Still.
AV Ape with Hurricane. But yeah, that was just a contingency, I guess, for that.
No, I pretty much
And then,
called the set, and like I was prepping for a little bit, and I kind of used Loopy as like my heat check. I'm like, hey, what about this? And he's like, no, you're an idiot, or oh, that's actually kind of good. I at one point he's like, you need more for Frostmoth, like that, because I was kind of like set on like Torterra being the Terra. And he's like, you need more for this Pokemon, and I'm like, oh wait, if he runs Hurricane, Bug, and Ice Beam or Terra Blast, I lose. All right, I need more for this mod.
Yeah, I forget why. I think I went Terra Blast over Ice just on the off chance you brought Tinkaton. I don't really see what else.
Well, it hits Chi-Yu. Yeah.
Yeah, well, oh, yeah, maybe that's what it was because I didn't want to. Yeah, it was that. Yeah, because I needed Bug from you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I figured if Mew came in, I could just Quiver Dance again, unless you were like Wild Charge or something. Obviously, didn't think of Explosion because even Psyshock gets blocked by.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out something. Because, like, Mystical Fire was kind of like all right, I'm just going to drop this special attack continually. I forget if I ever had, like, a raw physical move. It was so hard because I needed the slots on Mew to deal with Torterra and Frostmoth. And they're both polar opposite in terms of, like, typings and stats. Because, like, I would have to run mixed. Because I needed Frostmoth physically and Torterra especially. Yeah, it was a headache. But no, I think this was, like, the best set for Frostmoth you could bring.
And then I had Urshifu, which I think Adamant max speed is 1 point faster than Arrow. I think I made this team a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. I had Aqua Jet for Scarf, Chi-Yu, or Arrow if it like DD'd or something.
Dude, I genuinely think, like a little bit of spoilers with the game, but if I think Aqua Jet would have caught me 1,000,000,000% off guard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would have.
Yeah, so I wanted Adamant just for like the extra power. And obviously there's no reason being Jolly if it doesn't really speed creep anything.
Right.
And yeah, U-turn post combat for Ogerpon because I figured that was coming.
Yeah, this thing runs shop on me. Like, my water.
Ogerpon versus Urshifu is really just like a 50-50 for both of us every single time.
Exactly. And the big qualm with this team that I noticed when I made the trades is my water answers were not good.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That's why I went Terra Water.
Yeah, and that's why I originally had Diplin. I had like a Terra Dragon Diplin. Because that would resist the fire from Chi-Yu.
I did think of that. I was like,
Shifu. Yeah.
Yeah, I did think Terra Water or Terra Dragon Diplin might come, but then I was like, what does it do? It doesn't do anything back.
The problem was, it was on my first draft, but if anything you brought had sub, it was awful. Because I could Dragon Tail. That's kind of like its main phasing tool. And then with like, I have like some coverage and recover. But like if anything has sub and I can't break the sub, like it's bad for me.
Yeah, it just doesn't get Leech Seed, which is super annoying.
No, its move pool is very shallow. I wish
if it got Leech Seed, it would be decent.
Dude, talk to him. Tell Grain Freak. That's what I need.
But yeah, because of that, I figured it wouldn't come. But yeah. And then I had Pinsir, which kind of just like a late game quick attacker basically.
Oh yeah.
I dealt with Ape. +2 quick attack kills a lot of stuff after chip.
It kills like everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And then this is my my heat set, I guess.
You're a dog, dude. Your Chi-Yu sets were nuts. You're a dog for this one. I love this.
So my plan, which actually kind of worked, was I wanted to like bait Scarf, and then have you switch into something that I could flame charge on, like Gliscor, like Spadef Gliscor, or like
this would have like eaten Gliscor for breakfast.
Yeah, and then endure on the drain or Ape, and endure on the like drain punch or the earthquake, and then just kind of sweep.
Yeah, I wish. I think a couple weeks this season I had some variant of this, and I don't think I ever brought it or made it work. Like, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I
Wait,
did.
what?
Like some kind of like Endure Flame Charge, Salic or Weak Deposit type deal.
I had Endure Custap one time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And also, I remember showing that to you. So I was like, if I don't get the flame charge off, I can just Endure and bait Custap.
Yeah, like it's fine.
And then flame charge on the switch. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the stuff I didn't bring, I had Electrode. I think could have been decent. It was like a speed tie with Arrow, could taunt T-Wave stuff, but it just felt like kind of. I feel like if I got to play wrong ever, it was just kind of useless.
Yeah.
Feeny seemed really good. Like in theory, could switch into Chi-Yu and Ape if it wasn't Gunshot. But then I was running Calx, and like if I go full Spadef, it doesn't really do anything back, especially to Ape.
Yeah.
And if it's like Specs Chi-Yu, it doesn't even really eat 2 overheats, I think, or it barely eats 2 overheats.
Yeah, you kind of had to like devote your EVs to like counter a couple specific things, but it couldn't counter everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then it also griefed my my Skarm reset a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
But
yeah. Anything else on the teams? Or as I can go to the match.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Let me. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna delete those. Cool. All right, so team preview. I saw exactly what I expected. I don't know if you saw what you expected, but
can you link me the game actually?
Yeah. Let me
find it.
I'll throw it in your Discord real quick. There you go. Because I knew Chi-Yu, Ape, Skarm, and Pinsir. Those were like all guarantees in my head, and if you didn't bring them, I was gonna be very happy. And then Urshifu or Feeny, and then one of the Terramons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much. You pretty much had what I thought too. I wasn't sure if Ape would come, because especially in the when I was mocking Savage, he said it didn't seem good to my team. But I figured you would probably bring it just for the mirror, if nothing else.
High key, that kind of happened.
And it obviously wasn't bad, but yeah. But yeah, I figured Arrow, Chi-Yu, and Mew for sure. Toxtricity definitely, because it obliterated my team. And then Ogerpon for Urshifu as well.
Yeah. So
I figured maybe like Rabombi over Ape was pretty much the only thing I might have expected.
Yeah. So I want to talk through this turn 1, and I'm going to tell you my thought process, and it could just be way more complex than anything you thought. So you led Urshifu. I was Scarfed. I didn't know if you were Scarfed, obviously. So my thought process is I'm Terra Electric. I was looking at Calx, and a Jolly Urshifu Surging Strikes, I think did like 99. Like, I don't think I died to it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, Adamant Scarf, I feel like doesn't make as much sense because he won't deal with like a modest Scarf Chi-Yu, or like the speed tier just doesn't seem as good. Now in hindsight, I know you're Adamant, so if you would have gone for Surging Strikes, I think there was a chance I died. I think it might have still been in my favor. I forget.
It was a roll. It was a roll, but this Lego Shifu was so good in your team.
Yes,
I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think you would. So I'm like, freaking.
You ended up having more HP than I thought too.
Yeah, because I had
I
had 80 HP. Yeah, so turn 1, I Terra. You turn immediately, which tells me that you're Scarfed, and I Volt into Ape. What did you think? Like, did you think I was Scarfed, or that I was just like staying in for kicks and giggles?
When I saw the Terra Electric and you staying in, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because there's really no electric answer.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, I should have realized it was Scarf if you stayed in. But I was calcing specs, and I was like, oh,
it's like, oh no,
something's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
That's fair. And then I hit Ape, and I either calc that you were AV or like max, like HP max Spadef, and I kind of had the impression throughout the match that you were AV. That was kind of just my initial, like, in my head. I feel like AV is more likely than a defensive set, but I kind of had like both in my head. But I knew it was one of those two, which so it like meant that you weren't Scarfed or some like Scarf Gambit thing I had to worry about. But
yeah.
So turn.
Yeah, when that only did 30, I I was really breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, I needed
the
a
count
scarf.
also defaults to like Specs Modest or something.
Yeah,
It's
like Specs Modest Punk Rock. Yeah, it's like, ah, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so turn, and again, like, I thought about predicting the arrow, but I have no idea what your set is. So, like, I do a wing beat turn 2, just to be safe. And, I mean, I ran this through in my head, like, all right, he goes Scarm, next turn, I'm going to Flamethrower. Like, that was my, like, that was always the plan.
I did not expect that at all. I was like, I wall everything, he's gonna switch. and then it did 50 somehow.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, the fact that it did 50 was more crazy to me than the flamethrower itself. I was like,
I think,
why does it do so much?
I think that was like a decently high roll, but I think I always 2-shot.
Yeah,
but
you always 2-shot. It was like a literal max roll though, I think.
And the other thing is in the back of my head, I'm like, I know I'm gonna have to take a hit if he plays it smart. Like, you could go for rocks or spikes or, you know, whirlwind or something like that, but if I have to take a hit, I don't think you would have brought Ironhead. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense versus my team. So Brave Bird or Body Press makes the most sense to me. And Body Press, I was looking at calcs. If you're max defense, I can still live a quick attack from Pincer. So that was kind of my rationale behind, like, all right, I'm going to risk this to get rid of Scarm because it's such, like, a big threat defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I still have a Pincer check. Like, that's what matters.
Yeah, wait, which turn are you on, sorry?
I just did turn 4, so I just killed with Flamethrower.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I stayed on turn 4 because I was like, I can't really switch into anything if you switch moves. Like, the fact that you have Flamethrower means Scarm's kind of useless anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and it was so low, and it got outsped by everything. So
yeah,
then you bring
exactly.
in Chi Yu, and again in my head I'm like, oh, he's Scarf. He brought Scarf Chi Yu, but it was the bluff of a century.
One of my plan.
Yeah, no. So yeah, talk me through it.
Yeah, so I just basically, obviously he's gonna think I'm Scarf. I did have a moment where I was like, if he just stays in and hits me because he's like, screw it, then this is very bad. But yeah, I was bluffing Scarf obviously so I could. Well, to get a free hit off on something, but also to bluff it later in the game for my Flame Charge Injure.
No, it worked. It worked 100%.
Yeah, I did not expect AV to you at all. So I was like, I'm gonna do 30 to it or whatever. I forget.
Yeah. So I switched to you in turn 5, and it does Dark Pulse does 16.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so not specs. So I'm anticipating Scarf, like 100%.
Yeah.
So you sold me on
that. Yeah, this is the turn I lost the game.
Yeah. So my thought process here was, so again, in my head, I think the Scarf bluff almost played to your disadvantage here because I'm like, there's no shot he stays in. He's choice. He's doing 16%. It doesn't make sense. So in my head, if I know you're switching out, Ape doesn't make a lot of sense because I think you would still die to 2 moves. Frostmoth or Pincer makes also absolutely 0 sense. So even if you do stay in, because in my head you're choiced, like I can like. If you're immune to the psychic, like, it's not the end of the world. I think I still can, like, I don't know the 1v1. We would kind of just be chipping each other down and playing for flinches. Because were we both max speed? Yeah, we were both max speed. So it would have been like speed ties and Dark Pulse flinches, and I was kind of willing to risk that.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
But
I got very greedy. So my first thought, I was gonna go Urshifu, and then I was like, this is a super free psychic because he thinks I'm Choice Scarf. So I should have gone Frostmoth and just like, I don't know if it died to psychic into like,
I doubt it because you would have tear it. You have ice scales. But
yeah, it is Chi though, so
yeah. So I get the psychic play right, which was obviously a huge turning point.
Yeah, but then I got super greedy, and I was like, I just want to keep everything alive.
Which is fair.
Even though my first thought was like, Psychic is super free. And Chi, like, I should have never gone Urshifu because it beat your whole team.
No, so that was like a sigh of relief, especially because I know you were Scarfed. I'm like, that's something that Arrow doesn't have to deal with. But you had Aqua Jet, which would have 100% gotten me. But that's something I don't have to deal with Ogerpon or outspeeding Tox again. Because, like, realistically, if you get rid of Ogerpon, like, Scarf Surging Strikes is a win con.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and every time Urshifu comes in, it's like a 50-50 if I'm going to water move or U-turn.
Yeah, like, am I going to be immune with Ogerpon or am I going to take 70? Like, it's not good. So, yeah. So you go...
This is a terrible play. I got greedy instead of, like, playing to my outs basically, and yeah, it's a bad turn.
But you go Frostmoth, and I'm like, all right, again, like I ran through these situations in my head. I'm like, I have to go. Like, if you hard Bug Buzz here, like you got me good. I could still like deal with it, kind of, but it means like my one counter is very whittled. But yeah. So I got the mirror. Like like you said, it was like the only thing on you that made sense. And I had debated like, because there was a situation with Mystical Fire where I could Mystical Fire, like scout your switch, and like I would live the Bug Buzz with your attack lowered. And then like I was debating like doing that and then trying to get rocks up. But if you quivered again, I think I might have lost. So that was like
I did quiver it.
You did? Okay, thank you. Okay.
So that in my head I was like, nothing kills me except for like Wild Charge, I think. Or I don't know if Mew probably gets wood hammer or something, like a huge like
so
physical electric or grass. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I don't think he'd bring Wild Charge. It's probably, like I said, like Psychic Fangs, Fire, something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just quiver again. That because I knew you lived neutral. Well, we're both +1, but +2 killed even unless you were like speed def or something.
Yeah, I think if I got greedy,
you were like max. Yeah, I think you were like max speed. So yeah, I quivered again, and then
boom.
This was so cool. I did not expect it at all.
Fricket wee ball. No, I needed the 1-for-1. Like that was always the play. Like I just needed that Mon gone, and I was willing to trade Mew for it. I wish I would have been able to get rocks, but like you said, if I could put up rocks there, I lost. So, yeah.
So and then I went to you because I figured Arrow would come out.
Yeah, no, this was a great play from you because in my head, like I can't allow Pinsir in. And this is the thing that deals with Pinsir that also deals with Ape, and I'm not as worried about Chi-Yu. So, like, this was a great play from you, and then your double here. Oh, crap, I just went. Okay, so I switched into Ape, and you doubled it. This was such a hype turn. Like, I think for everyone watching, that we both just doubled into our Apes. But
the panic button is just clicking Ape.
Yeah, my thought process was I didn't want to go Chi-Yu on, because I'm not Scarf. I didn't want you to double into Pinsir on like some absolute Lord play, because I would have to, although like I would have to lose my Chi-Yu. I could pressure and not do an SD, so maybe my Chi-Yu is the better play, but I also think you're AV, so I don't want to bring in Chi-Yu on Ape and like hit you.
I thought you would go
die.
Yeah,
which is very fair.
Chi-Yu, that's why I went Ape.
Yeah, we're just
I knew you weren't like specs, so I think I lived everything, especially with the Psychic Berry.
Yeah, exactly. So we both have our Apes in. And again, like I said with my EVs, I wanted to underspeed you. So I was running like very minimal. And I think the mark was, I wanted to outspeed max speed Frostmoth at neutral. I think that was my intent. I forget exactly. But I'm like, great, he'll hit me, I'll underspeed, and it'll be great. But I outspeed, I hit you, so I'm like, crap, I might die. And then you get up rocks. And that's when I started like panic calcing. Because I'm like, crap,
so
that puts
like,
Arrow.
I think my only, I think at this point I was like, my only out is kind of SD Pinsir and quick attack everything. But everything was like 25% out of range, basically. Like, Toxtricity was like really close. Arrow was always died.
Arrow always died,
and then everything else died after rocks as well.
So I pick you off with a second Rage Fist, but then Pinsir comes in, and this is where like I rude that I took rock move off, because it wouldn't have killed. So like I don't think it necessarily like mattered, but
yeah, I actually didn't mean to mega in case you were rock move.
Oh yeah,
but I did accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that didn't end up mattering, because I know I was running calcs and I'm like, Arrow dies, so Arrow's useless. I think the calc I was running, I got a slow U-turn. With Tox, if you were Jolly, so you weren't Adamant, I lived 100% of the time and it was fine. If you were Adamant, I think it was a roll. And if you get the roll, I think you win.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I was calcing and I thought you were just like 4 HP. So it was a roll if I was with Jolly.
Yeah, so you Swords Dance, I U-turn, and then again, like I have to go Tox. And then
I'm always Jolly here because of Chi-Yu and Mew.
Yeah. And I think that was like a pretty min roll. I did always live, but I think it was like a min roll insult to injury. But yeah, so I think what I should have done.
I also at that point thought, sorry, at that point I thought Ape was Scarf, I think too, or I like thought it. I wasn't 100%.
Oh yeah, because I hadn't taken a hit.
Since
you didn't know
faster
my
than
item.
me.
Yeah, so you didn't know my item.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I was debating like Overdrive versus Volt to see if I wanted anything else to be in. Because I felt like if I volted into Arrow, I could like force you into a move and go from there. But I think that could have bit me in the butt with your set. So, all right, so turn 13, I killed Overdrive.
I mean, did you not know I was Scarf at this point?
No, I still thought, no, I thought you were Scarf still.
You would only click. You switched before me on the double switch.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, that's valid. So, yeah, and that's something I typically catch, but no, in the heat of the moment I did. I think I skipped that turn. So I like just did. I like didn't see what happened. But yeah,
understandable.
So you go to you. Again, like I just want chip. And it does 71. And then you click Flame Charge and I'm like, crap, I have to play this hella well. And then I proceed to click the move that I shouldn't and Drain Punch. Because U-turn killed.
Yeah.
And like an idiot, I'm like, all right, I'll just get some health back because it doesn't matter. Yeah. But then Flamethrower only does 74.
Yeah, but, as soon as you U-turned, I should have realized it was AV and gone for the flinch. But I needed 2 flinches in a row, so it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like the Urshifu turn. That was the main. Yeah,
which is a win con. But no, like I shouldn't have clicked Drain Punch. It was mostly like I was thinking like that doesn't make sense. Like why would I need health back? But in case you were some like, again, you like catastrophize in your head of like we're like maybe he's max HP, max defense, and he lives a hit, and then yeah. But I mean, that really wasn't a thing. So I should have just U-turned, but I mean I got to see the set, which I'm glad because that was insane.
Yeah, I'm glad the set worked out. It wasn't useless.
Yeah, so that was a much closer than a 4-0 would dictate. Like that was, I think like it came down to like you having like, again like I said, I just didn't need to lose. Like Frostmoth Quivers, all right, I didn't lose to that. Pincer SDs, all right, I managed to not lose to that. Chiyu has a weakness policy. Crap, I might lose to that. Like that was the entire game plan, legitimately.
Yeah, my team is also like, it makes sense because my team is it's like I win really fast or I lose really fast, and there's not really I don't have a lot of checks to things. It's more just forcing the other person to bring in their checks,
which is very viable because you force defensive prep and then they don't have as much offense.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, dude, this is a fantastic finals. Like this was a slobber knocker, which I knew it was going to be.
Yeah.
But,
lots of heat.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to hear your thought process because that changed some things for me. But I think your Scarf bluff and then the rocks from Ape were what really like kept you in it until like very end. Because those I was not expecting rocks. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, he's AV. That Overdrive didn't do a whole lot. I'm like, nope, he's just very defensive with rocks. I'm like, crap, I might have thrown by letting my 2 pincer checks take damage in the first like 4 turns.
Yeah, I was really close. But yeah, I think again the Urshifu turn where I just died was pretty much sealed it.
Yeah, it was a rough spot for you because I feel like it's a spot where you would have had to like bluff Scarf and double. Like that's just an absurd series of plays to have to make. But like you didn't know I was AV, so I don't think.
Well, I should have just gone Frostmoth because even if you like Flamethrower, like. The Frostmoth was mainly there. Like, it was good, but it was mainly there to make sure webs didn't go up.
Yeah.
So, and Urshifu is way better, but even like no matter what it does, Urshifu is way better. So I should have never risked it.
Yeah, so what would have happened there was the same thing would have happened with the Frostmoth and you, but you would have had Urshifu, which you probably could have got into after the boom double kill. And then I would have had to figure out a way to deal with that, which probably would have meant going Overpawn. But then I'd have to take a U-turn and then yeah, it was bad news bears.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was a really fun game. Any other thoughts? Anything else?
Not really. No, it was a great game. The Explosion View was so cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad that worked.
I was shocked. I was like, oh,
I think my favorite
I
part
did
was
not-
like watching the chat a couple turns after it, everyone's just losing their mind. Like that's such a satisfying feeling. Like you bring some set and then it works and everyone just loses their mind. Like that's so satisfying, especially in, like
Yeah.
finals. That's how I felt when I'm sure you felt that way when like the weakness policy went, even if like the game was over. Everyone in the
Yeah.
like everyone's like, oh, good games, and then that happened. It was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it was super cool.
But yeah, man, great games. I'm glad we got
I'm glad we got the mirror too.
I'm so glad we got the mirror. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It all built to this. But yeah, thanks again for coming on and everyone watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. We'll hopefully have more stuff like this coming out soon with more video content. But good games again. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you later.